Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me.
Hey everybody, it's Chaplain Sal, back with another coffee talk. It's also Hawaiian Shirt Day, Luau Day, so I wanted to come to you and talk to you about fear. But
first of all, let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Fear is, well, I sense there's a lot of fear right now. Fear is the only thing we have to fear. Fear itself is all we have to fear. Scripture talks a lot about fear. Yea, though I walk through the valley of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. And Isaiah, the author of Isaiah, says, I will not fear, for you have redeemed me.
Marianne.
Fear. God responds to us in the scriptures 365 times, fear not, for I'm with you. One of the commentators on the 23rd Psalm says that the psalmist does not pretend that evil and death don't exist. He simply says he will not fear it. He will not give death the power to make him afraid. There's also, and this will get to my point, there's another translation of the 23rd Psalm that says, thou prepares a table in front of me in the presence of my enemies, is the traditional King James Version. Thou prepares a table in front of me in the presence of my enemies. But the alternate translation, the Tyndale, I think it's the Tyndale translation, says, thou prepares a table before me in the presence of those who annoy me. So fear can make us do some pretty crazy things. Like, I think of this clip, if you've seen the movie, it came out in the 80s, Stand By Me, about four friends who go on this trip to find a dead body, and they get closer as friends. It's like as they transition from middle school to high school, or elementary school to middle school, one of those transitions. So they go on this trip to find this body. And so there's a scene on the railroad tracks. Let's take a look. There is a bad word. Sorry, guys, but bad words exist. But in this context, it's okay. Let's take a look.
Train! Oh, shit! Move it, man! Go on, move it! Get up first! Get it! Get up! Move it! Shit! Get up! Come on, man! I don't want it! We're 32! I got it! God damn it! Get up! Go!
So fear is pretty powerful. Fear can, as in this clip, it can make us freeze and not want to do anything. We can become so engrossed by our fear that we don't want to move, we don't want to change, we don't want to empower ourselves, we just want to stay where we are because the fear is so daunting, it seems to overwhelm us. And that's when God says, do not fear, fear not, for I'm with you, for I've redeemed you. Fear can also make us do some pretty negative things to those around us. I mentioned in a previous video that, if someone, when under stress, can lash out, it's not you, it's not an implication of you, it's just they, in their moment of stress, lash out. Fear does that too. Fear can make us lash out. It can make us do silly things. It can make us share conspiracy theories. It can make us distrust our neighbors. It can make us do things like say, Sacrifice the weak, reopen the economy. There was a couple of signs like that I saw at these protests. Fear can take hold, and if we don't trust God and trust our neighbors, the fear will make us do some pretty nasty things. And we want to try to avoid that. Don't become overcome with fear, because it's not good. Don't let fear be your guide. There's a song by Demon Hunter called "Fear Is Not My Guide," and one of the choruses, when time outruns my soul, I don't have to hide. Fear is not my guide. I won't be made to hold any word inside, for fear is not my guide. That day we meet God and we are judged, we don't have to fear, because God's judgment is righteous and true, and right, and his grace will get us through everything and anything. So don't let fear guide you, because if you let fear guide you, you forget to love God and you forget to love your neighbor. Don't do that. Trust love. Trust God. Have no fear, for God is with you. All right, guys, this has been another Coffee Talk with Chaplain. Hope you enjoy it. If not, let me know. If you did, let me know. And we'll be back next week for another Coffee Talk. All right, guys. Rock on. And don't be a jerk.